Welcome to One of Those Times in a Life, a musical journey through songs and stories. This week, Chapter 7, Sometimes I Just Have to Find a Mountain. Sometimes I just have to find a mountain. Take some time to walk there along a mountain stream. Its twists and turns are too many for counting. As the stream becomes a river and the river finds the sea. This journey that we're making around a life and a career and sharing in songs and stories around these campfires will take us through 7 stages, with each stage containing 7 campfires, and each campfire a song, a story told in the oral tradition, and some written thoughts about the journey. It took a lot of imagining and searching and a kind of squinting to find the contour of a life and create that kind of order and symmetry, because while it was happening, a lot of life felt and still feels pretty haphazard and filled with lots of random choices and chances and circumstances. It's satisfying to discover a shape and a way to contain this life, and so maybe have a chance to discover more of what this life contains, and maybe shape it a little while spinning some often tangled and sometimes knotted strands of that life into some interesting yarns. And in the sharing, to see some things differently, to see some different things. There are a lot of reasons to choose to do this around a campfire. Human beings, I think, have been sitting around campfires telling stories since shortly after fire was discovered. And while these days nighttime stories are often a way to get kids to go to sleep, those first stories might have been told more as a way of keeping each other awake and keeping the fires burning and somehow together sharing and facing the night. Life is changing and as constant as the season. It holds tears and laughter. It knows joy and despair as things happen. I don't always know the reasons. I tremble and I'm thankful as I say my mountain prayer. There's something magical about firelight, something mysterious and powerful about the circle we form when we sit around a campfire together. Connections we make to something beyond the moment and beyond ourselves, moments enhanced by stories and heightened by songs. And while a few of these campfire songs they'll be familiar, many are ones that I've written over the course of a lifetime. Threads now, part of greater yarn, yarns now part of a bigger tapestry, the songs together creating the soundtrack of a journey. Some things appear clearer at a distance. Each sunrise is different, while everyone's the same. Life is timeless, and it's over in an instant. There are things I understand that I cannot explain. The summer before going into the 8th grade, I was given the assignment of reading the Iliad and the Odyssey, stories dating back nearly 3,000 years. And while the authorship generally is attributed to someone known as Homer, there's a speculation that those stories and others like it were told around campfires for centuries before Homer ever got a hold of them. And although I feel as a 13-year-old kid I didn't really understand them, I believe those stories will forever be read and studied for lots of reasons, mostly because they're good stories that ring true and leave us feeling we're part of something bigger than ourselves and bigger than the time we're living in. And also because together those stories speak to two great human impulses. The first impulse is to leave home and go out and do something. And the second is to somehow, even against all odds and at whatever cost, to find our way back home. Assuming, like Odysseus, we do get home, those impulses are often followed by another human desire, and that is to tell somebody about where we've been and what we've done. And, well, nobody, not even my mother, would compare these stories to Homer's. That is also a part of what I'm doing here. And as you can see, or more correctly hear, the stories are being shared in the oral tradition, the way it's been done since the first campfires. And I'm calling these stories the Campfire Chronicles. Life is changing and it's constant as the season. It holds tears and laughter. It knows joy and despair as things happen. I don't always know the reason. I tremble and I'm thankful as I say my mountain prayer. The idea is to make one of those times in a life a journey around a life filled with adventures and discoveries shared around campfires. And there's a long tradition of people keeping journals of journeys, including the likes of Lewis and Clark and Captain Kirk from Star Trek. And in that spirit, besides songs and stories, at each campfire there'll be a written paragraph or a page to share that will be called the Campfire Logs. And staying true to the times we're living in, between campfires, there'll be additional blog posts and Facebook conversations. And soon there will be a downloadable trail map so that you'll have a better sense of where we are and where we're going. Sometimes it feels we've come so far, but we've still so far to go. Sometimes it seems we know so much, but there's things we'll never know. Once upon a mountaintop where everything is clear, I don't know all the reasons why, but I'm so glad I'm here. There might not be any way of saying this that doesn't sound a little corny. And yet somehow I do need to explain that one of the most important things at any of these campfires is you. It's the connection that you make to the stories, or that the stories make to you, the spirit you give to the songs, or that the songs give to you, that will truly breathe life into them. And because of that, I'll do my best to make the stories and the songs and the campfire logs entertaining, informative, and sometimes maybe even amusing. Most important, I hope you'll find them inspiring. Not simply inspiring in ways that have you say, how did he do that? Or that leave you touched by the yarns, but also inspired in ways that make you want to gather the threads of your own life, to spin your own yarns, and to build and share your own campfires. Because the more campfires we build and the more nights we share can truly make the world a brighter, better, warmer place. Life is changing and as constant as the seasons. It holds tears and laughter, and it knows joy and despair as things happen. I don't always know the reasons. I tremble and I'm thankful as I say my mountain prayer. Yes, I tremble and I'm thankful as I say my mountain prayer. That's about it for this stage. The next stage, the next campfires, will be introducing the Brothers Four, with songs from the campfires being from the group sitting around together, and the Campfire Chronicles consisting of stories of my first years singing and traveling with the guys. Thank you for being part of the journey and for spending time at the campfire. Thanks for sharing one of those times in a life. The next chapter, the Brothers Four. Hope to see you then.